Hi guys, today I'm going to answer to some of your burning questions that you had for me. I asked you yesterday on Instagram and Facebook if you had any questions, and you did indeed have a few questions, so I'm going to be answering them today. And please excuse my slightly damp hair, I just washed it and my almost makeupless face, but I thought this is kind of real life, this is personal, you're all my friends, so I'm sure you're going to be okay with that. So let's get started. So the first question came from Cup Noodle Kitty, and she left this question in my previous questions and answers video a month ago, and she asked, I would love to know your birthday. Also, if you could travel for free, what would be your top 3 countries to visit? And lastly, do you think it's ever too late to start over? I'm 31 and had to pause for a year due to health issues. I know I want to start new, but I feel too old sometimes. Alright, let's start from the first question, which is my birthday. So I actually celebrated my birthday really recently on the 13th of October, so just a couple of weeks ago. And so I'm a Libra. I love being a Libra. If you're a fellow Libra, please let me know in the comments. I get along so well with other Libras. The next question was, if I could travel for free, what would be my top 3 countries to visit? Somebody already asked something very similar in a previous questions and answers video, and to be honest, I don't think my answers would be so different, because the 3 countries I chose were very expensive destinations. So even if I could travel there for free, nothing would change. So I would still want to go to India, I would still want to go to South America. Particular country, probably Peru, more than anything. And then the US, especially New York. I want to go to New York so much. So those 3 destinations are my top ones. And then the next part was, if it's ever too late to start over in terms of your life or your job. It's never ever too late for anything. When I quit my career and moved out to London and started fresh, I was, let me think, how old was I? I think I was 28, so not really that young either. And my husband, when we left London, he actually was around 40, almost 40. And he changed his career completely. He became a full-time translator online, and he also graduated from university when he was 40, almost 40. So it's never too late. You can always do that if you believe in yourself, if you're really passionate about it, just go for it. It's never too late. And don't ever feel that you're old, because you're not old until you're dead. Now let's move on to the questions from Instagram that you asked me yesterday. And the first one comes from Montifiep, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, and she or he asked, where do you do your research and how do you come up with your health related theories and hypotheses? That's a good question actually. I do my research in all kinds of places, so obviously online and then from different kinds of books. If I had to put how much importance I pay to all these kind of sources, I would say that probably books is my number 1. Then all sorts of articles, scientific articles, and also all kinds of doctors and naturopaths online. I really appreciate those kind of articles too. And then another thing that I really appreciate and I find incredibly valuable information in is all kinds of forums, because I love reading people's stories and case studies and what worked for people, what didn't, what kind of symptoms they got. Because reading other people's stories, my mind is able to kind of analyze all of them, put them all together and make sense out of them. So it's really useful, because I see all these different things and then I get this theory from reading people's stories, and then I kind of compare it to everything else I know, everything else I've learned, and I decide whether it fits the jigsaw or it doesn't. So a lot of people actually don't look at forums, but I believe that forums are one of the most valuable sources for information, because science still doesn't know much about how the human body works. However, just reading about people's experiences and analyzing and putting it together, you can learn a lot. So I definitely recommend looking into forums when you're looking for information about something. So I guess what I wanted to say, when I'm looking for something, if I get some kind of a theory in my mind, and I get these theories first of all in my mind because I put all the facts together, I analyze them and I come up with a theory. Then next I go to the forums and I check if anybody else came across something similar. And then if somebody else did, and if I see similar stories, then I go to scientific research reports and books and articles looking for actual scientific proof whether my theory could make sense or not. So that's how my mind works when I research health. The next question comes from Rouge, and she asked, in your opinion, what is the most important thing to become a blogger, YouTuber? And also, do you find it difficult sometimes to blog or film in English rather than your mother tongue? So, what's the most important thing to be a blogger, YouTuber? I would say definitely passion for the subject that you're talking or writing about, because it's hard work. I will honestly say that making YouTube videos is the hardest job I've ever done because it's intense. Making a video requires so many hours of work and so much preparation, and it's also so stressful, at least for me. Maybe after 5 years of making videos every single day I won't feel like that, but I still get so stressed and so self-conscious. So you definitely have to be very passionate. It also will take a long time to get any kind of following, any kind of attention from the audience. So you will need a lot of passion to keep driving you when you're not getting any kind of outside results. So that's the most important thing. And then if I had to add a second one, I would say being honest and authentic. Just being yourself and not pretending to be anyone else, not lying, not hiding anything, just being honest and open. And that's, I think, what attracts people to other people. And then whether it's difficult for me to blog or film videos in English rather than my mother tongue, I don't think it's anything to do with English or my mother tongue, because to be honest, I've been abroad for 11 years now, so I feel much more confident and comfortable expressing myself in English rather than in my mother tongue. In fact, if I had to talk, like make a presentation in my mother tongue, I would really struggle. And it kind of sucks a little bit, because when you move abroad for a long time, obviously you start speaking a language. Let's say I'm speaking English. However, my English will never be as good as a native speaker. But at the same time, because I've been away from my country for so long, I also lost a lot of the skills of my own language. So my own language skills will never be that good either. So it's kind of like I will never be really good at any language, which is a little bit annoying, but that's the reality of an eternal nomad, I guess. And that's okay, I don't mind. So I don't think it's difficult for me to make videos in English. However, I do find that on some days when I'm having a down day and I'm having low energy and my brain just doesn't work very well and I get this brain fog, I find it really difficult to put sentences together, and my mind kind of struggles to catch up with my tongue, and I find it really, really difficult to talk. But it's nothing to do with the language. It will be the same with any kind of language. It's just that my brain sometimes really lags. Luckily nowadays that is disappearing as my health is improving, so thank God, that's much, much better. The next question comes from Maya Dolinar. I hope that I'm pronouncing it right. And she says, "Hi Vita, I have a question. Do you and your husband speak in English? Do you speak Italian, and does your husband speak Lithuanian?" So yes, we do speak in English because we lived in England for 8 years, and so it was like the common language between us. When we met, obviously he didn't speak my language, I didn't speak his, so we were just speaking English, and it kind of became like the language of us as a couple. And now that we live here and we hear Spanish all around us, we often catch ourselves speaking 3 languages at the same time. So often we might make a sentence that has words in 3 different languages, and often our brain doesn't even notice, so it's kind of fun. I do understand Italian almost perfectly. I can speak a little bit, but not much. I actually studied at university as well, and I was quite good at it, but since we came to Spain and I'm trying to become fluent in Spanish, Spanish and Italian are just too similar, so I can't speak both at the same time. So I've totally locked my Italian away to give my Spanish a chance. And then my husband speaks a little bit of Lithuanian because we lived in Lithuania for 1 year and 3 months before coming here. So he had a chance to practice. He understands quite a bit when I talk to my mom or friends, but he can't really speak much. The only words he knows is all kinds of food. That's really the first thing that my parents taught him. So it's things like ham, cheese, milk, meat, water, coffee, sugar, you know, things like that. It's kind of funny, but I guess he would never ever starve in my country, and that's the most important thing, right? And I think these are all the questions that you asked. So I hope that you found this video entertaining. I hope that you got to know me even better. And as always, I'm going to make another one of these in around a month time. So if you have any questions for me that you want me to answer in the next one, then just leave them down in the comments. And if you don't, then in around a month time, I will also ask in Facebook and Instagram. So you will have a second chance then. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.